Hello and welcome, foolish mortals. This is Emily.
And Clayton, your ghost hosts.
Hey.
And today we're going to be visiting our friends in the 100 Acre Wood and starting a deep dive into the history, production, and legacy of all things Winnie the Pooh.
Sounds exciting.
Everyone's favorite honey-obsessed teddy bear. But first, we're going to be taking you with us on a journey on all there is to know about the Disney classic, The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, starting with Pooh's surprising origins and how Walt gained the rights to the classic series of books.
All that's left to say is, let's make it magical. Before we get into this horrific episode, I think we have some mousekeeping, don't we?
Yeah, let's get some mousekeeping. Top of the show, just want to say, give a huge shout out, thank you to everyone who subscribed, watched on YouTube, and on top of that, even just went out of their way to say, congratulations on our podiversary on Instagram. All the love and support felt amazing.
Yeah, we were just blown away. We should know by now. We have like the greatest listeners in the world, and the Disney community is amazing. But we were just so blown away. We didn't really expect all of that. And I guess we went in with low expectations going into YouTube. So we were very happy with how our first week went.
We blew our expectations out of the water. It got us really jazzed. So we're excited. We did some brainstorming. We got some ideas for stuff to come.
Yeah,
so I think this will open up a whole new avenue of ways that we can tell fascinating stories. But that's for an episode of a different time.
Yes, all we can really say is thanks for sticking with us, being with us on this journey as we figure out more exciting things to bring to the show in the future.
Yeah. Like a new lens, which is now on the main thing, on the main camera, got a new lens, which
very
is all
exciting.
fun.
Lots of excitement.
Fun and games, excitement.
All right. Now, speaking of the ways to thank our listeners,
yes,
we have a really fun giveaway going on right now.
We still have our 3-year giveaway going on. As of this release, you have a week and 2 days, so 2 more videos possibility to get your entries in.
You do have time, but the clock is ticking, so don't dilly-dally.
Now, remember what you're trying to win is this coveted, fully intact e-ticket book, circa. Emily went to go do the research.
Late 70s question mark?
Fully intact.
Yeah. Now, fun fact here, Clayton, you know the answer to this.
Yeah.
But I figured out around the time frame because Space Mountain opened in Disneyland in 1977, and on the e-ticket, you will see Space Mountain listed. Now, let's give you a little Disney history here. Included next to Space Mountain on the ticket, it says a roller coaster type attraction. And you would notice there aren't any other rides listed with that little indication next to it. So why is that?
Well, that's because you can't tell what is going on in Space Mountain because it's in the dark.
Ooh, mysterious.
Scary.
Yes, that iconic structure we all know and love. You're like me.
Yeah, me.
So it's very different from other roller coasters Disney had done in the past, like Matterhorn. You can see the bobsled zooming by. You can hear people's screams. Same thing with Thunder Mountain Railroad. Similar type of situation. Space Mountain, you don't know what you're in for until you're actually on the ride, baby.
Emily, you could also tell that this is circa 1976, actually, probably circa-ish 1976, 1977, because America Sings is a D-ticket attraction.
Ooh.
Hey, who knows her Disney history? Now,
this guy.
Well, it also has the fact that
me.
It also has to do with the fact that I have such a sore spot about that building being empty. I know its entire history and the fact that it's empty.
Building.
Yeah, but let's not
Anyways, enough of history.
So yeah, you're trying to win this e-ticket. You're gonna have to beat Emily's mom off with a stick because she might steal this and say she won it because she is coveting this. We have to put this under lock and key every night so that she doesn't come up here and pilfer it.
Sticky fingers.
But yes, you're trying to win this e-ticket. You're trying to win the e-ticket keychain, which is circa 1967, 68.
Well, it's not front, Clayton.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking.
It's representing.
It's representing. The keychain doesn't have Haunted Mansion on. It has Pirates. So, circa 1968, let's say.
And it also, you can pick it up and show it off.
Yes, I could do that.
It also has fun other
It makes a lot of jingle jingles. So yeah, it's got for all the e-tickets that are on here, it's got a little charm representing all the lands. So that's this, you're trying to win this e-ticket. And of course, first place will be taking home an additional $25 Disney gift card, Magic Candle Company candle, and 1 Park Hop Teas of their choice. Second place, again, 3 winners. Second place, Park Hop Tea, Magic Candle. Third place, Park Hop Tea.
Yes.
Park Hop Tea. Park Hop
Lots
Tea.
of fun. So how do you enter?
Yeah. Go on to our YouTube.
They are already here. If you're watching, maybe you're not, maybe you're listening.
YouTube.com/@MakeItMagicalPod. Subscribe, leave a comment stating your favorite Disney park. It's apparently
park attraction.
Park attraction, excuse me. It's apparently impossible for any of you to pick one attraction.
I understand the pressure. I don't like picking one either. So I applaud everyone for listening and taking my advice to put down multiple
We got
attractions.
people picking full lands. We got people picking one ride per park. We got one person picking a ride for every park that they've been to, which is including both Coast and Disneyland Paris.
I'm here for it.
I'm sure if she managed to get herself to Tokyo, there'd be even more rides.
Absolutely.
But yes.
That is the way you enter, though. You need to comment either on this video that you're listening to or watching right now, or the previous week's episode 151. Either one is fine. We will take all of the comments from the collective episodes that the giveaway is still happening. So even next week, you can comment on that one as well. Leave your favorite park attraction or attractions and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is your entry into this giveaway.
But there's more you can do in your favor. If you're new to the show and you want to go and leave us a new Apple Podcast review over on Apple Podcasts, you can get yourself 3 additional bonus entries. If you want to go join our Patreon, you can do so as a free member.
Mm-hmm.
We are working some of what the Patreon content will look like now with the shift in the way that the show is being delivered now. Video was the primary perk for Patreon, so we're going to be reworking some of the content. We want to keep that engagement even there for free members. So if you want to join as a free member, you can get an additional bonus entry. And for our paid tiers, checks notes, has to really check those. Space Ranger, you'll get 5 bonus entries. Jungle Skipper 10, and our Happy Haunt 15. We'd love to have you over there on Patreon. Again, all that support basically comes back to the show, makes us feel good inside, helps us keep the lights on, literally. And we would love to have you. And again, we're trying to make it a more engaging experience over there now that our main content delivery has changed a little bit over there. But
either way, it's exclusive content.
It's exclusive content.
Yes.
So for the giveaway, you have until 6/13 to enter. So from this release, that's a little bit over a week and a few days. We will announce or contact our winners on 6/14, and only we will contact the winners, not makeitmagical.scam.pod or Make It Magical Scammers United.
Fooled you.
or
fooled you.
Or Make It Magical Man You're So Foolish pod. Okay. Let's maybe get into our actual show now at this time.
I think so. So enough mousekeeping.
Who are we celebrating here on the What Would Walt Do side of the house today?
We're actually not celebrating a real person.
Oh.
No Walt this week. But I thought it was fitting because today's episode, we're going to be going way back to the very origins and starting point of Winnie the Pooh. No better place to start than the beginning, I always say.
Yeah.
Or the first time I've ever said that. So I actually took a quote from the actual writings of A.A. Milne, so the original Winnie the Pooh books. And this comes from a bit of a gloomy character. And he said, "Remember that a little consideration, a little thought for others makes all the difference." And this was from our loved Eeyore.
Eeyore.
Yeah, great character.
He is, he's pretty sad in the book.
He's very sad in the book. There's still comedy through him too, but I think he's a bit less sad in the animated version. I mean, he's still sad. That's his whole personality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was great. That was by far my favorite quote out of reading the original Winnie the Pooh book. I thought it was great. It's just so sweet. You go, Eeyore.
Mr. Eeyore.
Yeah.
Now,
like with any good show you're about to put on, a concert, anything, you got to warm up the audience, right, Clayton?
Yeah. I have a feeling, because I've technically read the script before, that this opener is not going to be too great for me. But let's get into it. We hope you've all been itching for Winnie the Pooh content because we're coming in hot with what we are now going to be called Pooh Month. Mm-hmm. Now get your minds out of the gutter. We're not talking that Pooh. We're talking Winnie the Pooh.
Got a whole load of poo.
So what spurred this? Well, we actually just read, and Emily, do not correct me when I say we just read, because I have one story left that I have yet to finish, but that's whatever. We just read the original Winnie the Pooh, which is here. And this is by A.A. Milne. This was for our Make It Magical book club. If you want to understand what that is, just reach out to Emily on Instagram. And
There's been a bit of a hold on it for now because we've been working on a lot of other things.
Summer draws, but we're trying to do a quarterly book club. That's part of that. We're working on it. We got a lot going on. Let's just say there's a lot going on.
But yes, this was really great to actually, I've never read the Winnie the Pooh books before, so I feel like this was the perfect introduction as we're getting into this actual Winnie the Pooh deep dive.
I can't say that I have either.
I also read the sequel, The House on Pooh Corner.
I have not read The House on Pooh
Corner. I know
you
didn't. I think it's very clear. I know you didn't.
It's the original Winnie the Pooh books are basically, it's a combination of like short Pooh stories kind of roped up into, it's very similar to, I get the movie is very similar. It's basically adaptating the book.
Yeah, it's a lot of little stories mixed into one big film. But there seemed like no better time than now to keep this momentum going and use it for the podcast, of course. Time to learn more about Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, and there's ulterior motives to this because reading this leads into watching the movie, The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Of course, there's no other way.
Which
Okay, wait. You need to like really prepare people for this bomb you're about to drop.
Be prepared because
be prepared.
You might not like what you're about to hear.
I don't even like it.
You've had 10 years to fix this. That's not my fault. I've never seen, at least not that I can recollect, and I might have to correct some of this now because now my mom is more watching this now that we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
I've never seen The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. At least not to the point where I remember anything that would happen.
Shocking. We'll wait a second. I feel like I can feel the connection to all my Disney nerds out there. I heard a lot of jaws hit the floor. So we'll let you take a second, put those jaws right back up, and we'll proceed. Now that we've gotten that out of the way.
Is everyone okay? If you're hopefully you're still
We've
on the
cleared,
road.
Not the elephant out of the room.
We've cleared the
heffalump
heffalumps
out of the room.
Yeah. So before we before we send those said heffalumps and woozles after me for this major oversight, my Disney knowledge, which again is not my fault at this point, because
I'm correcting it.
She's had 10 years to fix this. Has she? No. So
I see how you do this. You spin it on me.
Hey, you cut me off of the knees here in this intro, like aggressively. So, I'm sending it some back at you because it's not all my fault. It's not all my fault.
Okay.
We are going to go down the entire Poohniverse. You've heard of the Marvel MC universe.
This is the Poohniverse.
How about the Poohniverse?
To be fair, you do have some knowledge of Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. You've been on both attractions, coasts. The Many Adventures, which same name, Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Disneyland, and Magic Kingdom. Yeah. So I feel like that's a good representation of the films. You know something.
Has Magic Kingdom got over the fact that Pooh replaced a certain other ride, or are they still upset?
I think fans are still upset by that.
Yeah. I even know that piece of Disney history.
You do. Yeah. Pooh kicked Mr. Toad to the curb.
Yeah. Now, so the whole plan of this is essentially, this is kind of a Winnie the Pooh deep dive into Clayton watches because we are basically going to go Winnie the Pooh 101. We're going to get me all the way pumped. We're going to get you all the way pumped.
Yeah, we're in this together.
And Pooh, Emily, be prepared. I'm sure that there will be Pooh related puns. We're going to get Pooh wrapped to watch the film.
Are you Pooh-umped?
I'm Pooh-umped to watch the film for the first time. And then we'll have our normal Clayton Watches discussion as a part of that.
And if you're not familiar, you're new to the show, Clayton Watches, as you can probably gather, is where, as an adult, Clayton is going in and watching these Disney films for the very first time. We will discuss, give thoughts. He's not looking at it through rose-colored glasses. It'll be fun. A great time.
This is episode 6 of that series. Previously, we've done Treasure Planet, Brother Bear, Atlantis, Rescuers, and Fox and the Hound.
Yeah.
This is technically the second time we recorded this bit, so I remember all the movies.
You don't need to.
I forgot one of them the last time we did this, but that's a different story.
You don't need to hash out all of our secrets.
It's fun to do that. So yes, and then we'll watch the Pooh movies. We'll probably maybe watch some of the other Pooh movies, maybe Christopher Robin, since neither of us have seen Christopher Robin. And then we'll probably talk about the rides. It's going to be a whole Pooh thing. We're doing all the Pooh.
Get ready.
All the Pooh that you could potentially want to have.
Yes. But before we actually really get started here into the very beginning of Pooh's history, I just want to dedicate this series to my mom. Growing up, she was always a very huge Winnie the Pooh fan. I don't think I'd ever seen anyone with such a big collection, like Winnie the Pooh memorabilia. She had, it's in storage. I don't know where it is now. But had the coolest, like old school looking Winnie the Pooh stuffed bear. So cool. I always relate to Winnie the Pooh anything. It makes me think of my mom. So this is for you.
Well, I think with that, now that we've gotten the knee chopping out of the way, let's get into talking about Winnie the Pooh. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is the 22nd Disney animated feature film and was released in theaters in March of 1977.
Ooh, lots of 70s talk this episode. Same year as Space Mountain opening.
But fun fact, Pooh's involvement with Disney, or vice versa, actually goes much, much further back. The film is actually an amalgamation. Big word. Emily's getting fancy with the word she's using in these scripts. Of 3 previously released animated Pooh shorts. Winnie Pooh and the Honey Tree.
Winnie the Pooh.
What did I say?
Winnie Pooh.
Oh, Winnie Pooh. Winnie the Pooh.
Or you can do that if you want. Winnie Pooh.
I got Winnie on the mind. I don't know what to tell you. Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, which was released in 1966. I believe this is the I'm Just a Little Black Cold Rain Cloud. See? I know some Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, which was released in 1968. And Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2, released in 1974.
I love a good rhyme.
Yes, we all like a good rhyme. Winnie the Pooh. I hope. Can I just say Winnie?
You can also say Winnie. That's
Can I just say Pooh?
Or Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear?
Yeah, that's cute.
Pooh Bear who? Pooh Bear? Because I think
Silly old bear.
I feel like there's definitely going to be too many Winnies.
There's a lot of things you can refer to him. Bear of little brain. There's a lot.
Honey addict. He's got a serious.
Got a bit of a problem.
He's got a serious honey problem. I got nothing else. When Pooh and his friends have been indelible to the Disney company over the years, to the point where Pooh Bear has become just as recognizable and loved worldwide, even more so than not than himself, but Mickey Mouse, which is very surprising.
It's very true, actually. There's a lot of people who you may even hear like Pooh better than Mickey Mouse, because Pooh has a lot more. You could say he's a flawed character. I mean, all of the characters in the Hundred Acre Wood have a major flaw, but Mickey Mouse, I mean, he started out as a much rougher, harsher character, and over time, he's just a very likable, friendly character. He plays it more safe. I mean, I love Mickey Mouse, but Pooh has a little more going on to him, so I can understand why some people might favor Pooh more.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to my mom before we got into this, and I told her we're doing Winnie the Pooh. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to study Winnie the Pooh and all the psychology of all the characters, because they all have Eeyore, and Pooh is kind of has that food addiction, all that kind of stuff. So they all have that downside, which is a very interesting development, especially for a kid's book. Now, the Winnie Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, I'm going to have, that's the actual title of the movie, so I have to say that, was only the start of what would later turn this IP into a powerhouse of sequels, TV shows, and merch
all
galore.
The merch.
There is a lot of Winnie the Pooh out there.
Yes, there are plenty of sequels, and many that actually made a theatrical release.
And a lot of Disney Channel Junior TV shows.
Very true.
And other things amongst that. The film proved so popular that it would go on to inspire attractions of the same name at Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. and even international representation through something even more elaborate at Tokyo Disneyland. Pooh's Honey Hunt
Oh,
is
boy.
on my checklist of rides to experience one day.
Yeah?
You don't act surprised. Why are you acting surprised?
It's supposed to be incredible, Clayton.
Let's just add it. Let's do a fun story.
Let it be known, Clayton's the one that said it, not me. I was about to say this is high on my bucket list, but you just said it for me.
This is a funny story. I got an ad for United's new business class because apparently
this is the biggest tease.
Apparently, I give off the vibes that I'm a business class person and can afford to fly business class wherever I go because United's like, hey, this guy's
not so much.
So I decided to look up what United business class and
just for funsies,
and see probably the location I would be most likely to fly business class to. And the top of my mind for that was Tokyo. And
you're just looking out for us, aren't you?
I texted this to Emily and she goes, "What are you doing to me?"
It's like, why are you looking at that?
Yeah. Well, I got an ad, so I was curious.
It's like torture.
And then I got 3 pictures of basically all the international parks back to back to back. She's like,
just a little inspiration to add to your dream board.
Yeah. I was at work in the office, hence we weren't having this conversation in person. That's kind of a key.
You got to be careful what you share with me, Clayton, because I am relentless.
Yeah, I know that.
If there's a tiny sliver of hope that I might be able to go to an international Disney park, or even, Alani as well, I'm going to cling onto that for my dear life.
Yeah, I know you're relentless, and yet I continuously egg it on.
You still do it anyways.
Yeah, because it's kind of fun.
You want to go. That's why.
Oh, I don't know why you're surprised that I would want to go. Why are you surprised when I've told you?
It just makes me happy.
I've told you repeatedly that I would love to go to Tokyo. And yes, I know that if we were to go to Tokyo,
there's a big stipulation with that, though. There's a requirement.
I want to go to Tokyo.
Minimum of 4 park days.
I also want to go to, and that's the other thing. You want to go to Japan? Okay, do you want to do like a few days in Tokyo, a few days?
No, I do, but I say, if I'm agreeing to this.
Yeah, I would like to do a few days in Tokyo, but I would also like to do a few days in Tokyo Disney.
Yeah. Got to try all the snacks. Got to see all the things, details.
I would love to go back to Scotland. And Emily's like, well, what's a short
and you know what I
train
say?
away?
I would also love to go to Scotland, but you know what else I'd like to attach to that? For a minimum of
Emily's always like, hey,
X amount of days.
You want to ride the Channel, right? Yes. Okay.
Okay. Winnie the Pooh. So
we haven't still gone quite back far enough. We have to go even further back because the first chapter of Disney's involvement with Pooh is actually really, very, very simple. It's the story of a father seeing the joy the bedtime stories brought to his children, which is a very common occurrence with Mr. Walt. In case you didn't know where we were going with this.
What we're hinting at here.
Walt personally experienced the happiness and laughter the stories of Pooh and friends brought to his daughters, and he used that as an inspiration for his future projects and future engagement with this character.
I love that.
Yeah.
Whoa, Clayton.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've quite gone far back enough. We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Go even further behind.
In that time machine we go. Boop, 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 boop.
So let's introduce the man behind the characters, the writer and creator of this book and the characters, Mr. Alan Alexander Milne, or what most people know him as, A.A. Milne. So
yes, let's talk about the original creator of Winnie the Pooh.
The original.
There's a photo here of A.A. Milne. I have to say, like 1920s photos or anytime in that time period, they always look so haunting, don't they?
Well, yeah. Hence the photography's come a long way.
It's come a long way. It's just they always look so like, whoa.
It's because this thing had to burn in for 6 minutes.
Like, don't you move.
The stories within the mini adventures of Winnie the Pooh is based on the works of writer A.A. Milne, Alan Alexander Milne.
Yes.
He was able to read at the age of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this guy is a genius.
Yeah, very impressive.
I don't know actually what time I could start reading, but that's and was always interested in writing. He found success prior to writing the Pooh books. That was mainly through his work as a playwright. Him and his wife Daphne.
You got really excited about that name, Daphne.
Daphne Milne had only one child and named him Christopher Robin Milne.
Does that name sound a little familiar?
He would go on to be the inspiration for A.A. Milne's writings.
Did you know any? I mean, did I tell you even about this? Because you weren't part of the book club meeting.
No, I missed the book club meeting.
Did you know about this?
No. Well, that
his son was named Christopher Robin.
No.
I didn't know that at all until I actually read the book.
Yeah, I mean, when you read the first story in the book, because there's all this, the first story, it starts with an engagement between.
There's a lot of breaking of the. Is it third wall?
The third wall. The fourth wall. Is it the fourth wall?
I was like, is it third wall or fourth wall? I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, there's so the stories within Winnie the Pooh are basically told from the narrator's perspective. The narrator basically being A.A. Milne.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first story, it actually starts out not even talking about Pooh. It's an interaction between A.A. Milne and Christopher Robin. And then within the subsequent stories, there is some times where they're basically, they will
interject into the story, and Christopher Robin will interrupt the storytelling of his father and say, wait, are you talking about me?
It's basically portrayed as it's almost like a bedtime story, even in the way that it's done. Think Princess Bride.
Yes, the way it's executed.
Yeah, think Princess Bride and the interjections in Princess Bride between as they interject with the story ongoing. Considering
we're talking about the 20s, that seems like a very forward-thinking way to tell a story.
Oh, yeah. That's I think it's a great way to tell a story. For Christopher Robin's first birthday, his father gave him, everyone ready? Ready to shed those tears? A stuffed bear.
Oh.
And then later on, he got a tiger.
A tiger.
He got a tiger, a pig, and a donkey.
I'm seeing a lot of similarities
Where's
here.
Roo? And Owl.
Roo came later. You'll find out.
Yeah.
Those will be answered. You're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Yes. Christopher Robin never had, and that's what I'm assuming CR is. Christopher Robin never had a rabbit or an owl as stuffed animals, but related or added to the stories by Mr. Milne.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Robin initially named his teddy bear Edward, and they were constantly together.
Oh, isn't the actual teddy bear really cute, the real life one?
Yeah. He's a little shaggy teddy bear.
Yeah.
The character Winnie the Pooh debuted in Milne's book when we were very young in 1924 as Edward the Bear.
Yeah, so this book is more along the lines of verses, and this character just makes an appearance. That's why I didn't read it, because it isn't until the actual Winnie the Pooh book that Winnie the Pooh as a character really gets established.
I see. The memorable name Winnie the Pooh wouldn't come along until 1926 and later A.A. Milne.
So Winnie the Pooh might seem like quite a strange name. Where would you get something like that? Well, there's, like everything, there's usually a story that goes along with it to explain.
Well, why don't you tell us, Emily?
It wasn't until one afternoon when A.A. Milne and his son, Christopher Robin, went out for a daddy-son day at the London Zoo. And they would actually find a very interesting bear that caught their eye, a black bear that was from Canada. And Christopher Robin took such a liking to this bear that he would end up, later leaving that day, changing the name from Edward Bear to Winnie, because this black bear's name was Winnipeg, or Winnie for short. Now, what about the Pooh? Because that's kind of strange to also add that on top of it. Well, apparently, they also saw a swan at the zoo. It sounds like. I found a couple sources saying this as well. That was named Pooh. So they added Winnie the Pooh, and that just became, from now on, what Christopher Robin would refer to his stuffed bear as. That is where it all started, from a zoo day with father and son.
That's very cool.
And what's really cool, I found an image showing, they have actually a sculpture on display of the original Winnipeg black bear and a plaque next to it that's describing how the Winnie the Pooh origins came to be, and it can still be found at the London Zoo today.
From zoo to Pooh.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure. Some sources said it's in the location nearby where Winnipeg was actually stationed and the enclosure was at. Not sure if that's fact. That'd be really cool if it was.
Yeah.
But super fun. I like they still honor that this place has a lot of significance.
Yeah, I think that's, if I was a zoo, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's very cool. Now, I wonder if you knew. Here comes some
mind blown.
Here comes some Dora the Explorer moments. Did you know that the 100 Acre Wood is actually technically a real place? Did you?
Did you?
I didn't. Sorry, I don't know. Apparently, the idea to bring Christopher Robin's toys to life was all due to Mrs. Milne. In 1925, when Christopher was 5 years old, his family acquired a vacation home right outside a forest named the 500 Acre Wood.
Oh my god. I couldn't believe this.
Yeah.
Aren't you so impressed by this?
I
couldn't
am.
believe this. These are the stories I love. So I'm so glad I decided to do more research on the origins of this book.
This is located in Ashdown Forest in East Sussex. I know that word, or at least heard that word, which is in southeast England. This is around the time A.A. Milne really noticed the games his son would play with his stuffed animal, and he used this as an inspiration for his writing. Christopher said his real-life forest and Pooh Bear's 100 Acre Wood forest are basically identical. Yes, the 100 Acre Wood is a real place.
Oh, I love this.
E.H. Shepard, is that the
illustrator
Yes.
of the Pooh books.
E.H. Shepard would illustrate actual spots within the 500 Acre Wood in Ashdown Forest to really capture its essence in geography. He even ended up changing some of the real site names there to better fit within the story of Pooh. For example, there's a real spot called Gill's Lap, which E.H. Shepard renamed the Galleon's Leap in the stories. Today, there's even a plaque in the exact location to honor Milne and Shepard. We're not sure if this is still the case, but one source said there's pamphlets available to visitors who'd like to do a Pooh walk, or rather see the sites that inspired the Pooh stories like Gill's Lap or Wren's Warren Valley, which is Eeyore's sad and gloomy place. The Lone Pine, where the Heffalump trap was sent, which is one of my favorites.
Heffalump trap.
Heffalump trap, which is one of my. No, that's not the trap one. It's the one where he's.
They're
following one, and they're like, oh, now there's two of them. Like, oh yeah, you think? A disused quarry, which would become Rue's Sandy Pit, or the North Pole.
Yeah, so actually lots of spots in this area that would go on to inspire many places with the what is quote unquote made up 100 Acre Wood.
Of course, there's a bridge for playing Pooh Sticks, a game in which sticks are dropped in a river and raced under a bridge. The bridge was originally built in 1907 and rebuilt in 1999. The area around the bridge is frequently stick-free because the popularity of the game among visitors.
Yeah, everyone wants to play the game in the books. That's so cute.
Let's play some Pooh Sticks, everybody.
I love this. So I've included an image of the map of the 100 Acre Wood that was originally drawn by Shepard, and which is really cute. Underneath it says drawn by me and Mr. Shepard helped, but helped is spelled HELPD.
Yeah, that's very
Isn't that cute? This is, you can see it in the very front of our book too, but it's a colorized version. So I have a few images here to show comparisons to a background illustration of the 100 Acre Wood in comparison to the actual 500 Acre Wood, and also an image of that plaque there to honor both Milne and Shepard. I love this so much that you can visit this place and do your own Pooh walk.
Let's do a Pooh walk.
Oh, man.
And that's not what you think it is.
We did our own Hocus Pocus walk when we visited Salem. Let's go back.
Well, Emily,
let's tack this on to Disneyland Paris trip.
We'll do. We'll fly into Scotland, or do we want to fly into Paris first?
I don't know.
Fly into Paris, do the channel.
I would absolutely want to do this. I want to visit the real 100 Acre Wood.
I'm so screwed.
Oh, man.
You can't do this research.
There are even other pictures. These are like very personal ones from people doing their own Pooh walk.
Yeah.
But there's like spots where it looks like, I don't know if it's been there a long time or when it appeared, but like it looks like Eeyore's house. Like there's all kinds of things, like Pooh's house exists there, Owl's house. It's so cute. Can that be on our bucket list? Oh, it goes so bad now. How fun would that be?
I told you, whatever ends up in your bucket list probably ends up on mine.
It also looks beautiful.
Yeah, it does look very beautiful.
Now, on to what we've been hinting at, the actual books.
Milne wrote a total of 4 Winnie the Pooh books. When We Were Very Young, released in 1924. Winnie the Pooh, released in 1926.
Now, get this. This book is almost 100 years old.
Yeah.
It does not feel like that way at all.
No,
I mean, it feels like
timeless.
It's from a different time, clearly, but not 100 years old.
Yeah, they're very timeless stories.
Still very funny, charming. They're relatable stories. It's just very simple.
Now we are 6 1927.
Again, that's more of like a verse-filled book.
And The House at Pooh Corner, released in 1928. They were widely popular in the book world and would become instant staples in children's literature, a true success, some might say. All the illustrations in Winnie the Pooh and The House at Pooh Corner were illustrated by Ernest H. Shepard, E.H. Shepard, who would visit the Mills family and based all of his drawings on Christopher Robin himself and his toys. After the success of the Pooh books, he would illustrate, among many other things.
Now, here's some more Disney connections for you.
Oh, he would illustrate The Wind in the Willows, which I know is the basis for a little movie that shares its time with Sleepy Hollow. What's the Legend of Sleepy Hollow? What's the Headless Horseman? I don't know. It's the Toad book. It's the Toad movie. Which then, oh my goodness, it's like mind blowing. He did Wind in the Willows, which would become a Disney animated feature.
Oh man,
which would then get opened up in the parks and be a park ride, an opening day attraction in both Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. But then there's more. It would be replaced in Magic Kingdom by Winnie the Pooh. It's all connected.
That's so crazy. Hey, fun fact. Did you know that the Mr. Toad version in Magic Kingdom had 2 tracks? And Rolly Crump was the one like heavily in charge of building that Toad attraction.
I did not know that. Well, I mean, it makes sense because he got kicked off Haunted Mansion. They got sent to Project X.
Yeah, so he worked on Toad.
Wow. That all came out of nowhere.
I mean, Rolly Crump and Mr. Toad does sound like a great fit because it's so surreal and just bonkers.
Did they have the bonkers ending?
I'm saving to do research on that until one day we do Mr. Toad's Wild Ride deep dive.
That's certainly one bonkers way to end it.
Think of Mr. Toad on 2 tracks. Man, that does sound cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. It's even more scarier. One of Shepard's children, Mary, would actually go on to illustrate the Mary Poppins books.
How cool.
Which is also a Disney movie.
Is it?
And there's even a movie about the making of it.
Yeah.
I forget the name of that movie.
Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah, it's got Tom Hanks, titular role of Walt Disney. Many people wanted A.A. Milne to continue the series of Winnie the Pooh books, but he felt like he had done enough. Once Christopher Robin was entering the age of starting school, Mr. Milne just felt that the inspiration wasn't there anymore, which I can totally understand.
Yeah, you can respect that decision. If the inspiration is no longer there or the motivation, then it's time to stop and, end it on a good note. Now. Whoa, we even rehearsed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so a big thing you may notice when you go to read or look at illustrations of the original Winnie the Pooh books, Pooh sometimes is wearing a shirt, but a lot of the time he is not. He's just a plain old teddy bear. So where did this iconic red shirt actually come from and become very much a part that distinguishes Pooh as a character?
Would you like me to tell you?
Sure.
In 1930, 2 years after A.A. Milne published his last Winnie the Pooh book, he signed a contract with Stephen Schlesinger, a literary agent. Schlesinger bought the merchandising rights to the Winnie the Pooh franchise, where he would then create all kinds of things like board games, toys, collectibles, and records. The Parker brothers were actually the first people to draw Pooh in color for the board game. In 1932, this is where the iconic red shirt debuted, and from then on became an essential part of the character.
Thanks, Parker Brothers.
Yeah, thanks, Parker Brothers.
I thought that was fascinating that it all basically originated from this board game.
Yeah,
or became a big part of his identity from there. Because again, in the books, it's kind of like every once in a while he might be wearing a shirt, but it wasn't colorized until later on.
Yeah.
So it was really this board game that started it all.
But unfortunately, we have to end our talk here today on a bittersweet kind of.
At least the involvement with the books, a bittersweet ending to this part.
Yeah. So we hate to end this section, but it's sometimes what you
felt
gotta
like
do.
This is necessary. I had no clue about this, but it seems very important to know if we're talking about the history with A.A. Milne and Winnie the Pooh.
So
we don't mean to curb stomp on anyone's dreams or happiness or the comfort that Pooh Bear may surround you with. But wildly enough, And I was quite shocked by this when I read about it. The real life Christopher Robin actually quite resented these books.
Yeah, I can see why. This actually comes up in that one movie, which I won't name the names, but it's a similar thing, Amazing Amy. And she actually hates, she like very much
Yeah.
resents that because it's the
It does
perfect
make
embodiment
sense.
of her that she can't live up to.
Yeah.
Christopher, growing up in the shadow of the fictional Christopher Robin, and his father found it difficult to feel like a normal kid. He became somewhat of a celebrity from the success of the books and being recognized as the main character, well, the main human Christopher Robin character of the book.
Which, as if from reading this and knowing that the illustrations were completely inspired and pulled from real Christopher Robin, it was also inspired from his actual games that we would play with as toys. And the way it's written, like Clayton mentioned, with the introduction, setting the scene about it being about A.A. Milne reading to his son, it's hard to separate the two from Christopher Robin in the book to the real life person.
Yeah. He began resenting his father and the characters for a large portion of his life. While the books caused turmoil in the family, Christopher made peace with it as he approached his elder years.
We have a quote from Mr. Christopher Robin here, too.
I like to have around me the things I like today, not the things I once liked many years ago, which I can understand that sentiment.
You can also relate this to what typically happens with Disney Channel stars.
Yeah.
They are put in these roles and they eventually grow up and people still see them as these characters they once portrayed and continue to think they're going to do that into their adulthood. But they say, well, no, that was just a role I did when I was a kid. I want to grow out and branch out.
Yeah.
Where it's like, people do move on. They don't want to always be lumped in with something they did from their childhood. Some people might want to, but not everybody.
You're telling me Miley Cyrus didn't want to be Hannah Montana her whole entire life?
No, but actually with Miley Cyrus, it is very sweet. You can tell she's gone through quite a journey, and she was named a Disney legend at, I think, last year's D23.
Yeah.
And the speech she gave was very emotional because she does recognize Hannah Montana was a big part of her life. Like now she's kind of
made peace with it.
She has a very sentimental spot for it and is very thankful. And like she's grown into a person that she loves to be now. You can tell she's kind of come into her own.
Same with Christopher Robin here a little bit. How about this?
We changed our minds. Let's actually end this Christopher Robin and Pooh Bear origin story on a more positive note. How's that sound?
Gotcha. Christopher Robin's original stuffed animals that inspired Winnie the Pooh are still on display at the New York Public Library.
Clayton.
We didn't go to the library when we went to New York.
I didn't know that they still are out there.
I did mention to Emily, hey, I'd like to go to New York sometime.
I'm like, I'm down.
She's like, oh, we could do this, we could do that. I'm like, we could go to a Yankees game just so we could say we've been to a Yankees game. And she's like, oh, well, let's go to the New York Public Library to go look at.
Yeah, you can do your baseball game. I'll be watching my Pooh friends at the library.
And they've been there since 1987. Pooh is from 1921, and the other stuffed animals were given to Christopher Robin between the years within that decade. There's no Roo on display, though. He was apparently lost in an apple orchard during the 1930s. Oh, poor Roo.
I just imagine Roo out there. He's still looking around. Hey, guys, where'd you go?
He's actually disintegrated.
Mama. Where's Mama?
Actually just disintegrated.
Yeah, and I also read something that they had a family dog, so these toys were also played with by the dog, so that adds to their rough shape.
Yeah.
They still look so
Winnie the Pooh looks really good.
He looks great, actually.
He does look like he had a bit, I can't tell if his one paw had a bit of a surgical operation there, but
Tigger also looks pretty good.
Yeah, Tigger looks pretty good too.
I would say Kinga looks a little rough.
Kinga looks a little rough. She looks like a burlap sack with some.
I mean, this show isn't appropriate for family. She looks like the bent neck lady from even the show name? The House on Haunted.
Haunting at Hill House.
Okay, I always want to say a different variation. The Haunting of Hill House.
Haunting of Hill House.
Kinga looks really cute. He's like doing a pose, like I am strong.
I'm just a small little animal.
Oh,
or
he's
am
so
I?
cute. I want to see them so bad.
All right, put it on the list of things that we'll inevitably do.
500 Acre Wood and New York Public Library. The Pooh, go on our own Pooh grand adventure around the world.
So much Disney related stuff. Okay. Now that pretty much ends the origin of Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin. So let's bring this back into Disney and let's bring Walt into the story.
Let's Disney-fy this.
Walt had a tried and true strategy that he held to over the years. We're going to rewind all the way back to the release of Snow White, 1937. That's Disney animated feature number 1.
Yeah, it is. And this is when it became a massive success. Quite a gamble, too.
Walt, without hesitation, started looking to obtain the rights to other stories he felt would translate perfectly into film. Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland. You've seen them all. Cinderella.
List goes on and on.
List goes on and on. We could literally name all 50-ish of them.
But in order to make those movies, you need to get the rights first and look ahead.
His reasoning was multi-layered. He wanted plenty of material to choose from for future projects, all while preventing other studios from producing their own films based on the same stories.
Very smart.
He's like, hey, Universal, take that.
Gotcha. That's what you get for taking Oswald from me.
Yeah. This was a smart move. It was always a trend in how he ran his business. He was always very forward thinking.
Even if he didn't necessarily have the bandwidth to pursue these different books to turning them into movies right away, he just wanted to acquire them just to have them in his pocket so they had plenty to pull from in the future.
So how did Walt get the idea to pursue Winnie the Pooh? Well, you could say it's very similar to how he got the idea for a little park we like to call Disneyland. And then Winnie the Pooh would become a ride in Disneyland. It's all connected.
Oh, I love happy endings. What, you don't?
No, it's just something about how that is just. So it's all, again, this is all thanks to his daughter or his daughters.
Yeah, some sources said it was both of his daughters, but it really seems like Diane was the one that loved Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, get ready for a little bit of a Make It Magical rundown. Diane Disney Miller, wife of ex-CEO of the company, Ron Miller, who brought things like Touchstone, Tron, and they have a winery up in Napa.
Very true. All very true things.
Diane recalled, Dad would hear me laughing alone in my room and come to see what I was laughing at. It was usually the gentle, whimsical humor of A.A. Milne's Pooh stories. I read them over and over, and then many years later to my children and now to my grandchildren. And then I showed them the movie and said, you know, your grandfather or your great-grandfather, he did this. He made this.
So sweet.
We're talking a lot of full circles because this is a full circle moment.
Another one.
The first book in the Pooh series was a compilation of verses A.A. Milne wrote as bedtime stories for his son, which again is how the book very much reads. Mm-hmm. This in turn resulted in the Pooh books going on to be loved by other families, including the Disney family, where they would be read to Walt's children. Oftentimes, Walt would overhear his wife Lillian reading to the girls, Sharon and Diane, stories like Mary Poppins or Winnie the Pooh, and he recognized them as being something special. I wonder why he got the idea to adapt Mary Poppins. Weird. All the laughter and joy these books and characters instilled in his daughters stuck with him. He couldn't ignore it, and it made him very curious to learn more about this Pooh character. Who is this rascally old bear?
Silly old bear.
One day at the studio, he asked animators like Exitensio.
Hey, does that name sound a little familiar?
Yes, it does sound familiar, Emily.
Why does it sound familiar?
Oh, sorry.
This is your pop quiz.
Exitensio would actually become a very famous Imagineer. Walt saw in him a little something that wasn't just Imagineer or animation and said, hey, you are going to write a little ditty called Yo Ho, Yo Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me. It would, of course, be in everyone's favorite pirate-themed attraction, Pirates of the Caribbean.
And not only that, he would go on to be a heavy player in the Haunted Mansion.
Writing such little ditty, such as Grinning Ghosts.
And not just that, writing the entire Ghost Host script.
What?
Is this haunted room actually stretching? The only reason it is because of Exitensio.
You know, after 3 years of doing this show, it's actually literally amazing how many of those little diatribes I can do with just like off the top of my head. I have to say, there's only one reason I could do any of that, because of my teacher over here, Mrs. Emily.
Oh, full circle.
It's also so. So he asked animators like Exitensio if he had ever read or even heard of Winnie the Pooh.
I just imagine Walt going in the studio and be like, hey,
Yo, X.
so what's the deal with this Winnie the Pooh character? You heard of it?
X.
Hey, X.
Yo, X. Walt said they were great stories and felt they needed to make a little feature out of them. And so Walt sought after acquiring the rights. However, if you've ever seen Saving Mr. Banks, you might be familiar with this not always being such a quick process. So securing Winnie the Pooh wasn't as nuts as securing the rights for Mary Poppins, but it did still take decades. Walt made several attempts between the 40s and 50s to no avail. Finally, though, his efforts and his tenacity would pay off.
He needed that Pooh.
The year was 1961. Not Winnie the Pooh. Disneyland has been open for 6 years. Walt's looking to conquer some new.
I like how we're so in sync. You're trying to set the scene, and if you just go a couple sentences later, I'm setting the scene.
I don't even need to read the script.
Perfect.
I don't even need to read the script. That's 10 years of marriage, baby.
Aww.
Well, 10 years of, not marriage, togetherness.
You're the male lava to my female lava in the ocean.
Are you saying I'm an old, decrepit volcano? That's
No.
I'm just joking. The year is 1961, where films like The Parent Trap, The Absent-Minded Professor, and 101 Dalmatians, starring a very nice, very good boy, Pongo. Very good boy, Pongo. I don't know why some people might not like Pongo. He's such a good boy. Here, these movies all premiered. Sorry.
Thank you for that.
I don't know. I'm just saying Pongo's a good boy. All these movies premiered. Big year. Disneyland debuted attractions like Snow White's Grotto, which is now Snow White's
Wishing Well.
Oh, this is the Wishing Well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not the ride, it's the Wishing Well.
No, the ride used to be Snow White's Scary Adventures.
The Flying Saucers in Tomorrowland. And it would mark the first year Tinkerbell would soar through the skies above Sleeping Beauty Castle.
Big year for Disneyland.
Big year for Disneyland. And it would also be the year that Walt would acquire the rights to A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh books and start his newest project of bringing the lovable characters of the Hundred Acre Woods into the hearts of the public through the power of animation.
Yeah. Even with that success of Walt now having the power of Pooh in 1961, the fully animated feature, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, actually wouldn't release for another 16 years until that 1977 date. So what exactly was going on at the studio with all this large chunk of time? What was happening? What caused this delay? Well, you'll all just have to wait and tune in next week to find out.
Cliffhanger!
We'll cover it all and answer just that in unrelenting detail throughout this entire series. So you'll just have to find out and wait and join us on this journey.
Little bite-sized intro to this deep dive series, but don't worry, there's more Pooh coming.
Yeah, we're like we're dangling the honey pot at everybody. Hey, you want some more? You want to find out? Okay, come on next week.
Come on over. So again, we'll be back next week with more Winnie the Pooh. But make sure to get your entries into the giveaway. So just to remind you, go subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@makingmagicalpod. Leave a comment stating your favorite Disney attraction. You don't have to pick one because no one else can. But
anything goes. We just at least need one attraction in there somewhere.
We need anything that represents an attraction, a land, a park. At this point, the rules don't matter.
I mean, the rules do matter. Just still leave a comment and list an attraction.
If you want to support the show, head on over to Patreon. We're doing bonus content. Again, rework coming. More on that later. If you want to support the show in some other ways, you can head on over to Park Hop Tea, support a small shop. They're fantastic.
Actually, I'm wearing a Park Hop Tea today. This is my solely inspired t-shirt from Monsters, Inc.
I love Park Hop Teas. They're pretty much the only Disney tea I wear. So head on over there. Use our code MagicalPod20 to save yourself 20% off. Or head on over to Magic Candle Company. Save yourself some off of a candle of your choice. Experience the parks. When you're not in the parks, use our code MAGICAL15.
The magic alive, even when you're at home.
But I think with that, Emily,
remember to be kind to each other and
let's make it magical
and Poohrific. Bye, everybody.